It turned out positive.
I remember whenever we got first line driver.
Yeah.
We pushed for about 3 years almost,
man.
and buddy, we were running with these drivers. Zach would be wearing his Crocs.
Yeah.
I'd be wearing some.
He's still wearing Crocs. I seen him at MP.
Yeah,
he's still wearing Crocs.
Yeah,
bro.
he's still wearing Crocs.
Yeah.
He's still wearing Crocs.
Yeah. Welcome back to Blacktop Banter. We're going to be at episode 9 here, so we're tucking some in and putting some behind us and getting some information and getting some shares and getting some likes, and I love it. I love all the interaction, and I really appreciate everybody's support. You know, I always got to start out with a shout out, and our shout out goes to Cam Roberts. So Cam's been hitting me up a little bit saying how much he likes the podcast. Cam owns Laser Line Painting, and they're in Prince George, British Columbia. So that's another Canadian. We got a lot of Canadian listeners, man. So I'm really excited because, you know, they do painting and line striping and pavement marking. And it leads right into our guest, Mark Estrada. Some of you might know him as Captn Striper from Marathon Solutions Group. Mark, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us about Marathon, where you're at, where you're located at, all that good jazz to get us started.
Well, I'm Mark Estrada, co-owner and VP of Marathon Solutions Group. I've been in business for going on 15 years. Been through it all pretty much. Started the company with my best friend. We survived, we survived the
the initial
we survived our 20s. We started the company whenever I was 20, he was 21, and all we knew is that we didn't want to work for anybody.
Yeah, kids, man. Kids starting their
business. Yeah. So you know what? We found a paint roller and a cause, and you know what? It pretty much started from there.
Yeah, man. Tell us how it did start. I want to know kind of, how did you guys even think, we're gonna do striping, or we're gonna do pavement maintenance or whatever you did.
I actually, funny story. My background actually is land surveying, pipeline surveying. I was doing that fresh out of high school. Got me out of my mom's house.
Sure.
It was a trade that I still respect to this day, that helps me out to this day. But I got a phone call from my best friend Zach. Known Zach since junior year in high school.
Yeah.
He went the military route.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he calls me one day while I was in my work. In my lunch break, and he's like, "Hey man, did you ever wondered how those blue squares, how they get installed over at Home Depot or Lowe's?" And I'm like, you know what, man? I never really thought about that. But now that you say that, those blue squares are everywhere.
Right.
And I get a phone call maybe a month after that, and he's saying, "Man, I think I'm onto something. When can you get to Abilene, Texas?" That's where he was stationed.
Sure.
So first off, I'm like, "Where's Abilene, Texas, my man?"
Yeah, right.
And he showed me where it was, and I'm like, you know what? I'm 20 years old. This is the time of my life where I could take some chances. Mm-hmm. And I bought a one-way ticket to Abilene, Texas on a Greyhound.
Damn, man.
Oh yeah, suitcase and pretty much not even really a dream, right. Just a feeling.
Cool.
By that time it wasn't a dream yet.
Right. Cool.
And once we got over there, it was 2005 going to 2006, and man, it was awesome. The work was flowing, everything was going really well.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know what? We were kids, and we slowly but surely started structuring the company. Mm-hmm. started to figure out the types of services that we can provide, and that's when we got into seal coat.
Right.
That's when we got into sign installation. I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You can't turn down work.
I know.
You learn how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And so what I did was, or what we did, we went through the trials and tribulations.
Yep.
That was pretty much our college. The School of Hard Knocks from striping.
Yeah, dude. I think that's in any. Dude, I think that's in anybody's resume, is that they learn those ropes, the hard ropes. Early on.
No one taught us how to stripe. And that's one of the things that separates us from a lot of these different companies, which is amazing. A lot of these different companies are legacy companies, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and that's what I strive for now.
Sure.
Is actually a legacy company. And but before, we didn't have that. We didn't have someone to teach us.
Right.
So man, we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but sometimes with that, you don't have to unlearn stuff too, and you don't get set in your ways. So maybe that worked out to your advantage, that you're like, dude, this is how I like to do it, and this is what works for me, and you kept building on those, and that's what made it, So
that makes sense, yeah.
So once you,
what it is, yeah.
I think so. Sometimes, because you get a lot of different contractors together, and it's like, well, how come you don't do it like this? And dude, I might have been doing something for 10 years one way, and and even don't matter their age, dude. If it's an old guy or a young guy, and they're like, well, how come you don't do it like this? And I'm like, dude, I never even thought of that. Like, and he's like, yeah, well, this happened to me once, and I thought maybe if I did it this way, it'd turn out positive.
I remember whenever we got first line driver.
Yeah.
We pushed for about 3 years almost, man. And buddy, we were running with these drivers. Zach would be wearing his Crocs.
Yeah.
I'd be wearing some.
He's still wearing Crocs. I seen him at MP. Yeah. He's still wearing Crocs.
Yeah,
bro.
He's still wearing Crocs. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just running with these stripers, and we were making it happen. It happen, and that's really what drove us.
Cool, man.
Was
did you have fun?
If that makes sense. Oh, we had so much fun. To tell you the honest truth, it was it was a bunch of buddies from high school.
Yeah,
so
man.
It was a bunch of best friends.
Yeah.
It was a fraternity.
That's what you said.
It was brotherhood. We all learned something from each other. That's for sure.
That's cool.
And some of the guys stayed. Some of the guys went on to different careers.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we founded something beautiful together.
That's cool, man.
And I still remember the first big projects. My goodness.
Were you guys like this? Like, oh my God, man! What did we do, bro? What did we do? Why did we say yes? Yeah. Why did we say we could do it?
Well, I remember our first. Because we were the company that did the jobs that nobody wanted.
Sure.
So we were the company that would get on the road and seal, stripe for pennies, man.
Yeah, go
I
tour.
Mean, literally.
Yeah.
We would have a road trip. We had a consecutive road trip for about it must have been about 4 or 5 years.
Damn, man.
We would start off in Tucson, Arizona, and road trip through California, starting in Fontana, California.
Working?
And working, yes. Working.
Bro.
Distribution. Yeah, we're handling large distribution centers, and it was cool too, because we used to always, we're like, okay, straight to Venice Beach, and then on to the first distro.
Right.
And it was from Fontana, going all the way into Central California to the Bay Area, and then up into Tacoma, Washington. It was amazing.
Dude,
into Oregon, all through Oregon. It was the time of my life. It was actually the time of my life. It was absolutely amazing. And then the recession happened.
Right. Yeah, it happened to everybody, man. It was tough all over.
Yeah. The recession happened. We went down to about $1,000 in the operating account.
Yep.
Just we went from having 8 guys, into the company, and went down to just Zach and I. And man, I'll tell you what, it was scary, and it was something else. It built us. I'll tell you what, it it actually really built us. I remember some of those times where some of the most powerful moments of my life. I think everybody gets to that point, especially as a business owner.
Yeah.
Where you question what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, because you look at your life that's in front of you too, and you're like, dude, I put in some time and effort in this thing. Is this really
and we
what
weren't
I should
stuck,
be doing?
I mean, this is before kids.
Yeah.
So we were going off a pure drive. I mean, this was just pure drive, aspiration. I don't know much to say about that.
No, that's cool.
Except
that's cool.
except how beautiful it is
to make it come out the other side.
Everything,
make it
through everything, man.
Dude, we did the same thing. I had to do roofing again, and I hadn't roofed since I was in high school. And the recession hit, and ended up being just me, and I had one of the guys that roofed with me help me. And we split everything, dude. I split everything with him because he was such an integral part of me keeping Wisco going. I really wanted to keep the customers that we did have faithful that we were going to come back and be there. And dude, that's what I ended up having to do. And dude, when we came out the other side of the recession, and we were one of the only asphalt maintenance companies left in western Wisconsin that was actually like a legitimate company. Dude, the jobs and the opportunities that were waiting there were unbelievable. So, I mean, and not only that, but I had already conditioned myself to be the frugal business owner, like, dude, we can't waste this, can't waste that. And all of a sudden, that mentality in myself, and then the jobs that started coming in, we had enough to actually build a business now. So, I think I'm in that same boat as you, and I'm sure anybody that made it through the recession at that size of a business and through those lean years, it became a business that has a staple, So I kind of want to ask you about beginners, because we all know you for your striping skills, man. So a lot of people, you and I were at MPE together, and we both had different people come up to us and say different things. But one thing about you that I was super envious was, no one ever comes up and says, dang, Marv, you do great work, when they talk to me. But they're like, dude, I love your videos and you have content for us. But when I see people come up to you, they're like, you're the man. So I've seen a few people say that when we were at MPE, and I know you were like, dang, because, we put ourselves out there on social media. And you're super humble. I know you personally, so I know you're super humble. But what recommendations do you have for guys, much like myself? I don't use the blue machines, so I only have so much of my ability. But guys that are like me, that want to get to that level, and maybe just want to do striping, what recommendations do you have if they've started striping a little bit, but they really want to take on those intimidating projects that are either huge or complicated or whatever? What recommendations do you have for them to get from point A to point B, as far as exercising their skills?
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself on every aspect of the job.
Yeah.
It got to the point with me, I didn't do this overnight.
Right.
As far as striping skills goes, many people have them.
Mm-hmm.
It's more or less, how often do you use them?
Right. So
So I'm very blessed to have a partner that is an amazing salesman.
Dude, he's a great dude. Great dude.
I'm very blessed to have him as a partner. He's an absolutely amazing individual, and he's just by far one of the best salesmen I've ever met, and sure. I've seen them all.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if he didn't bring that gas, for operations to knock down, excuse me, over the years, a lot of the you go through different teams, you go through different different people in your company.
Yeah, for sure.
You train people, they leave, they come back.
Yeah.
It can be really heart-wrenching.
Sure.
It can be gut-punching, especially for someone that's a team leader, someone that's in charge of operations.
Right.
So there was a large portion of my career, where I was, I thought that I could do it all.
Right.
That I thought that I could just, that I was capable of anything.
Sure.
Sure. And, it wasn't until I realized it's a lot more to this. It's a lot more than, what you put, what you put out there. It's more about what you put in to your team, to your crew, to the people in your company. And, there was a long time where I was on a plateau. I reached a plateau in my life, in my career.
Yeah.
Where I really wasn't too excited about this anymore.
Right. Right.
I saw that my skill level, I didn't think it was going to get better. I didn't think it was going to be worse. I was okay, I thought. I just was like, I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Sure.
And it wasn't until I got myself out of that plateau is whenever I actually tapped into the real skills. Yeah. That I can actually say that's not really striping skills, but it's more mental.
Yeah, confidence.
It's confidence, exactly. Yeah. And that's really what it is with these, with being a better striper. You have to get over a lot. Yeah. And it took me years. Oh yeah, lots of fear.
Yeah.
But once you get over it, it's beautiful because that's when you find the passion again. You get into it, and you love it. You'll absolutely love it again. And for the newcomers, this is your time. This drive that y'all are feeling right now, that got you into the industry, that got you tickled about all of this, about the lines everywhere, about spreading black stuff everywhere, paving, concrete, thermo, whatever it might be. Man, ride the lightning. Yeah. Go with your heart. You know what's up. The one thing I learned about life is that gut feeling that you feel. Yeah. That your heart talks to you sometimes.
Yeah, says you need to do this. Yeah, you need to do this.
Go for it. Just go for it. Whenever you see that hard radius and you're like, man, I'm just gonna tape it. I'm gonna try to tape that radius somehow. Yeah. Or I'm gonna try to freehand it, get off the machine and freehand it. So you know what? What if you could do it with your machine? What if you could do it on your line driver?
Yeah.
What if?
Dude, well, I remember I came down with you, not this past November, but the November before. And, I was just amazed at your team and how they knew what to do and how you guys rolled out. And then seeing to me it was very complicated because we've never tackled anything like that. But you were just like, well, I think one thing that kind of drew me and you together was when you had that line driver with the GL 1000 on it, and you're like, Marvin, don't you see there's all your marks? Go ahead, get on. And I'm like, get on? You're like, yeah, just send it, man. He's like, there's your marks. Hit the button when it's time. And dude, I was like, oh my God. And as soon as I got through them, dude, I felt like I won a football game, bro. I felt like I won a fight, dude. I was just like,
really?
Dude, it was so exciting to go on that edge and to have you be like, dude, just do it. Just go, just do it. And I was nervous as all get out. So that fear, I can see, it's you're scared to mess up on the pavement, but it's not that big of a deal. And that's what you were like when, one thing to me, you're like, dude, you don't worry about the fear. Just have fun and do it. And it was a lot of fun. So I think if guys kind of change their transition like you were talking about, I think that was great advice. Just enjoy it, do it, and you'll enjoy it. So I think that's great advice, dude, for beginners. But when I was down there, we made a video, and I gotta ask you, you did curbing in reverse, freehand, and it was super damn sharp, dude. How and why are you so damn good at all that?
Well,
Is it that thing where you've pushed yourself so far to do stuff like that and send it, and then when you do it, you're like, I can do that now. So then you just keep challenging it. What is it?
That's about right. I mean,
I don't want you to toot your own horn, bro, but you know, we
I had to get over. Well, I had to get over the mental aspect of things. You know, it's like, okay, you know what? This machine runs a certain way. I know the process of each component of this machine.
Did it become an extension of you, Mark? Like, did the machine itself?
Pretty much. I mean, you could say that. Well, that's where I was. That's where I was going to. You know, it's not only mental, but it's physical also. I mean, you're putting your body through a lot of different motions, and to tell you the honest truth, I mean, I eat, dude. I eat right. I stretch every day. I meditate every day. That goes a lot into my passion, which is striping.
Dude, you're so chill out there. When we were out there, dude, you were so chill, and I did not expect that.
It's my therapy, Marvin. It's my therapy, man.
I believe it. So, let's talk about you know, the stuff that I say you're good. I've seen you in real life do it. So, I've seen other people do it too, and you know, there's people that are good. There's definitely a level of stripers that are upper echelon that I don't want you to say, but I count you in there, you know, with those guys. But there's something that separates you from everybody else.
I want to know about Captn Striper.
How did that come about? Because you're at this level, you were doing this thing, and all of a sudden we start seeing an Instagram account with Captn Striper, and you can introduce him if you want to. I mean, the guy is to some people he's become the striping superhero, man. So you know, it's personalities. I love it, dude. I love it. But tell us about how Captn Striper came about.
Oh man, well, you know, I can't talk on his behalf. You know? I mean, I don't know. I just, you know, Captn Striper, you know, is more. It's an idea.
Yeah.
Captn Striper originated as a. Whenever we first started this thing, we always, you know, talked about. You know, we were in the trenches pushing stripers, you know, in the middle of doing fire lane or something, stencils or something. And we would be like, gosh, you know, how awesome would that be if we can just, you know, put all of our powers together and an amazing superhero just came out of the sky and the parking lot is all of a sudden was 100% perfect. It was done, you know? So we always drove each other, you know, with craziness in the parking lot like that, you know? So, it was recently though. You know, I started to see every night around 3 a.m. You know, my team, you know, they just always was winded. They were always lagged around 3 a.m. It seemed like.
Sure.
And you know, 3 a.m. is a big deal for stripers.
Yeah.
You know, you start smelling the donuts. You know, you start getting the morning anxiety, man. Start getting the morning anxiety. You're like, dang, the cars are coming. And so, you know, around 3 a.m., it was known that before Captn Striper, but Mark would go around the parking lot and just get crazy on them.
Hype
just be like,
up.
guys, it's time to go. It's time to go. Pep it up. You know, let's go, let's do it. You know, ass over your shoulders, run, get it
dig
rolling.
Deep. Yep.
And yeah, it's about to get real.
Right.
You know, like let's get off this parking lot,
it's the home
guys.
stretch.
Together, let's get off this parking lot.
Yep.
So you know, that led to you know, getting some green glasses and really just acting nuts around 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was just rolling around. Just all of a sudden, I show up with these green glasses and The guys love it. The guys are just like, you know what? Yeah. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, dude.
Captn Striper? Who the hell is that? At first they're like, look, Mark, I don't know if you like this, but you know what? After a few jobs, they were expecting it.
Yeah.
And
they were excited.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It was good. And
he's got
one thing led to another, and
yeah.
I started to integrate it into my Instagram page, saw the wonders of social media, and then this guy turned into this guy right here.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the fluorescent lights are flashing. There's always the light bars everywhere, dude. And dude, I think it's refreshing because it gives us something different to look at and do and take in. And dude, for me, if nothing else, if this is the only alter ego that ever exists, it's gonna be perfect because everything's green themed, man, with Marathon, and
see behind me, man, we bleed green.
Yeah,
this is my home office right here. So
yeah, call the A-team, bro. Yeah, call the A-team. Yeah, so I hope we see more from Captn Striper. I like seeing him around, and who knows, maybe he'll make an appearance at MPE sometime and really show out and stuff. So it's super hype. Please keep it going. We love it. My boy loves it. Do your boys like that aspect of?
Yeah, they've got their own glasses.
Dude,
they got their own green glasses. Dude, they're in training. They're captains in training right there.
Dude, that's epic. That's epic.
Eli's got some, and my boy Eli, and they're actually just my old seeing glasses, but they're busted out, and they're not green. He tried a green Sharpie, but it's pretty cool. I appreciate you doing that because that comfort zone we were talking about, that's a big one, doing that and putting that out, and you don't know how it's going to be received. And dude, I love it. I think everybody loves it. So definitely keep it going. We love it. So when it comes to Marathon, I can't say hashtag don't say but how would people find the work that Marathon does and Captn Striper? What are the Instagram is where it's at for you guys, I know, and your Facebook has been popping lately as it goes back and forth. So how can we find you? How can people follow along?
www.marathon-solutions.com, at Marathon Solutions Group on Instagram.
What about
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
This guy. Facebook, same thing, Marathon Solutions Group.
All right,
and Captn Striper is directly linked.
Yeah, so if we're on Instagram and we want to see Captn Striper, then what do we type in?
At Captn Striper.
Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna
put it in there, and I'm on it.
Cool. What I'm gonna do is
at the end of this podcast and in the links, I'll put in your links because I don't always do that, but with Captn Striper, I feel like I probably should do that. Otherwise, he's gonna have my ass. So I like it. Mark, we really appreciate you being on the podcast, man. Really, truthfully, and taking time out of your night. It's late, I know, for both of us. I really appreciate it, and I think our community appreciates it. We appreciate the work you do and what Zach does, and Zach's gonna have his own podcast segment at some point because that's a whole different bag, man. That's a whole different energy, and I love it. So we're gonna get him at one point. The absolute asphalt hype man, Zach, is gonna have it at some point,
and he's at Hyper Striper.
Yeah,
if y'all are wondering.
Yeah,
yes, he's not on Instagram all the time, but he is on.
Yeah, he'll pop in once in a while. He does pop in once in a while. I know, and you let me use his line driver. Remember, I had Hyper Striper line driver. I sent him the picture, and he was like, "You better not be drilling any farts in that, man." So
you can hit him up on Facebook too, Zach Lovett. Zach Lovett.
Dude, he's the man. He's the man. You both are. I really admire what you two have made it through, what you turned Marathon into. The culture at your business is different than any culture that I've ever felt anywhere. Whenever people, thankfully, people let me tag along and see how it should be done. And your guys' culture is one of a kind, and It's something that I believe I will try to mimic as my business grows and gets larger. So we really appreciate that. We appreciate you being on the podcast, and that isn't going to be your last run-in with the podcast. I can promise you that. So be ready. And here at the podcast, you know, we're appreciative of all the listeners. Give us some follows, some shares, you know, enjoy what we do. We want to enjoy it. I don't like always tooting my own horn or trying to one-up whoever. We can definitely go ahead and talk to our constituents and brag about their accolades too, and the stuff that they do, their accomplishments, and that's what we should be doing. And that's what I do with you guys. Mark, thank you so much. Tell Zach I said thanks for you guys' hospitality at MPE as well. That's it. Podcast is over. This is episode 9. Man, we're up to 9, Mark. You want to say anything? You want to say anything
in closing?
You know what? Confidence rules all, and positivity rules all. So no matter what, always stays positive and rock out with your striper out.
No, I like that one. So that's it. That's how the podcast is going to end. I hate to do a sign off after that one, rock out with your striper out, but we always want you to seal it, stripe it, pave it, and kill it. Peace.